But what's scary is how many Democrats are willing to allow this kind of stuff to happen. We're letting the thing be run by the people that are in power, that are corrupt, that want to keep the power. Because it's not just Biden. Biden is barely there, right?
With the conviction of Donald Trump, the game has now been changed. Of course, the left is really afraid about Donald Trump's incoming retribution if he happens to get elected in 2024. Fingers crossed, right? But of course, they brought this on themselves. So rather than elections bouncing back and forth from left to right and right to left, now we're in this weird realm of mutually assured destruction, because now we're allowed to go after our political opponents like some third world country. And this is going to be pointed out today by Joe Rogan on his podcast. However, before we jump into that, please like and comment on this video so we can break through the algorithm. Let's get into it.
Is it good that China and Russia have cuddled up together now and they're all buddy-buddy and they're shaking hands and smiling and taking pictures? Like, is that good? That seems not good. It seems not good if the whole world is against us. Like, that seems really bad.
And if they make our medicine.
Right. And what solution could Trump possibly do? Like, when he says he could stop it, like, how do you stop it? How do you stop it?
I think Trump just puts the fear of God into these people a little bit. I think he puts the fear of...
The guy's not going to play by the rules.
Right. They read our news. If they glance at our news, it looks like we have a crazy president. So they're like, oh, let's wait a bit. I honestly feel that way. I think that they think by glancing at our weird propaganda that we have, that we're being fed, they're like, this guy's kind of crazy according to them. So, let's wait. I mean, why did Putin wait? Why did Putin wait to invade Ukraine until old Poopy Pants Jenkins was president?
If I was going to do anything, I'd do it right now.
Yeah.
It just seems like everything's so chaotic.
Absolutely. We got no border. We're giving money to fucking whoever wants it. We're already rich countries.
We got men who are the first female admiral.
Oh, my God.
We have so much chaos.
Chaos.
It's so kooky.
Yeah.
It's just so kooky.
So here we are setting up a clear distinction between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. Why in the world are all of these bad actors around the world choosing to get aggressive right now? Oh, it's because Joe Biden is a weak, ineffectual president, and Donald Trump already has a proven track record of world peace. And as is succinctly pointed out there in that clip, yes, if you watch all of the news media being propagandized out of this country by the mainstream portion, then basically you think that Trump is a deranged lunatic. So of course you don't want to cross him in any way. And that, of course, is what led to the world peace we had during those 4 years under Donald Trump. But as soon as Biden gets into office, what does he do? He steps back. He stands down. And basically, he emboldens all of these crazy world leaders to go out and invade other countries. And Taiwan, holy crap, you'd better watch out because you're next on the docket.
It really is like the whole country's hypnotized. And I just think this is a perfect storm of things that are happening all at the same time. With AI emerging, China and Russia becoming buddies, us being run by a dead man. They're trying to stop this other guy from even running, and they're exposing how corrupt the democracy is. They're exposing how corrupt the system is. Just by charging this guy with 34 felonies for paying off a lady he had sex with. Like, what?
And how else would he have paid her money to...
Well, it was the way it was written, the way it was put in a ledger. It's basically, on most situations, it would have been considered a misdemeanor. But they turned it into a felony. They trumped it up, no pun intended. Yeah. And then he signed like 34 different checks. So there's 34 different. The whole thing's crazy. First of all, what a cheap. I'll pay her in installments.
Yeah.
Don't give her all the money. Give her a little taste. Keep her on the hook.
Yeah. That actually makes sense, I guess, now that I think about it. Because if you pay her all at once, she could just write a book or whatever.
No, the whole deal was that she couldn't talk if she got the money, but obviously that didn't work out. Right. She got the money and still talked. Like, if you have the backing of the political party, it doesn't matter. Like, especially the party that's in charge. But what's scary is how many Democrats are willing to allow this kind of stuff to happen. And a lot of them are aware of it. There was this one lady that went viral, and she was talking about it, and she was saying, you have to understand, like, I'm not a Trump supporter, I don't like Trump, but this is really dangerous for democracy. Nobody can justify this, and nobody can say this guy should be in jail for this. This doesn't make any sense.
Before we continue, I do want to mention that Joe Biden, of course, is causing massive inflation and devaluation of your currency. So what can you do to protect your investments? You can go to Genesis Gold Group and turn your 401k or IRA into a gold-backed security and get back on the gold standard. To do this, all you have to do is go to angryteachergold.com or call 1-800-200-4653 to protect your investments. And remember, Genesis Gold Group is an America First faith-based organization, so you will not be investing with a woke company. Let's get back to it. Yes, the two-tiered justice system strikes again. On one hand, you have Stormy Daniels, who signed a non-disclosure agreement. She got money for saying, hey, I'm going to keep my mouth shut. And also, don't forget, she signed a statement saying that Trump and her never actually had an affair. But forget any of that. Are there going to be any legal ramifications for Trump now being able to go after her for the money they actually paid her to say, hey, shut up, stop bringing up these allegations, it's hurting my business, my image, and of course my possible re-election campaign according to the Democrats, okay? So never mind any of that. The idea that people could just simply break contracts and run afoul of the law with no ramifications whatsoever. Oh, but Donald Trump and the laws he broke. Yeah, those were all basically misdemeanors, right? Misdemeanors that were trumped up, as Joe Rogan said, no pun intended, into somehow felonies. And now Donald Trump, because he wrote a bunch of checks and signed those checks, all of which were initially created by Michael Cohen, and Donald Trump, of course, just going under the legal advice of his counsel, went ahead and signed them. And New York said, oh, you can't do that. Normally, this would have been a slap on a wrist, which is what happened, of course, to Hillary Clinton, right? She had this done to the tunes of millions of dollars, and all she got was a couple of $1,000 fine, and of course, no jail time, and of course, no trial to be trotted out in front of everyone for weeks on end in front of television cameras.
And especially if you wanted to look at past presidents with the same scrutiny. I mean, there's so many instances of things that you could go, and this was one of the things that Obama had said when Obama got into office. They were talking about George Bush and Dick Cheney being charged with war crimes. And he was saying, we're not going to look to the past, we're going to look towards the future. Mm-hmm. You know, like, we're not going to prosecute anybody. You imagine if when Obama got into office, if he decided to prosecute Dick Cheney and George Bush for crimes against humanity?
Yeah, crazy.
Oh, my God. You know how crazy that would be? Do you know how divided the country would be then? Well, that's the same thing kind of that is taking place now at a lesser scale, obviously, because it's not a war crime you're charging someone with. But you could charge Trump with war crimes. You could find some things that he did, especially with bombings and, you know, and even what Obama did. Obama, during the administration, they dropped a drone on a U.S. citizen. No trial, no nothing. Boom. Yeah.
Trump didn't even go for Obama. He didn't go for Hillary. You know, and he could have. He could have tried them for things.
Yeah. Well, especially Hillary.
Yeah.
Especially with the whole email thing, the deleting of the emails.
And supposedly Trump's the crazy one. Trump's the loose cannon.
They're all crazy. That's what they don't want you to know. It's like sluts that are always talking bad about other girls who are sluts. Like, you know, it's what people do. It's a thing that, you know, people, that's not me. I'm not like that. It's just a weird thing that people do. And people form teams and they justify why they should use any means necessary to silence the other people on the other team, the opposition. And they don't even realize they're setting a precedent. And when this motherfucker gets in office or another motherfucker gets in office that's a Republican, you've got real problems now, kids. If the elections are real, that's how it usually goes. It usually goes one side wins and like, this sucks. Let's try the other way. The other guy wins like, oh, this is bullshit. Let's try the other way. And this is what we've done in this country over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know, we go Clinton to Bush, Bush to Obama. It's what we do.
Yeah.
It's what we do. We always do it this way.
Yep.
And if you change the way people are allowed to go after political candidates, and you change the way you're allowed to silence and imprison your candidates, then we're like Mexico. We're just not assassinating people yet. You know, we're like a third world country. We're like a banana republic. We're letting things other than the will of the people and what's best for the people be what's running the thing. We're letting the thing be run by the people that are in power, that are corrupt, that want to keep the power. Because it's not just Biden. Biden is barely there, right? It's all the people that are working there. You got to understand, he's this huge team behind him. They don't want to leave. What, get on LinkedIn and try to get a new job? Start sending out your resume?
Yeah.
I work for the worst administration ever.
Right.
Yes, if our elections are real, you do have the balance of power kind of going back and forth between the different parties, which is what we basically used to have in this country. But now, as Joe Rogan points out, are we headed toward Mexico, where you're just going to outright assassinate your political opponents, right? How far away are we from that? Of course, Mexico is run pretty much entirely by the cartels, so having people assassinated just really seems like kind of a byproduct of the political system. So yes, total craziness. We have enacted basically mutually assured destruction. But hopefully, and honestly, I really do hope this, that since the Democrats have opened up Pandora's box, Donald Trump should be able to go in there, hopefully after he's reelected, and really go after actual criminals, people who are actually colluding to usurp our government, right? The people who wanted to coordinate all of these attacks at the same time with outside influences, George Soros, all right? And hopefully we can actually get something cleaned up in Washington for a change. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, and stay safe out there, people, because they're coming after you.